guys, Jenny with On Fire Fit, and welcome to week 5 of our battle plan against whatever giant you have identified. If you haven't done so already, make sure you watch the previous weeks and download your copy of the battle plan. And I hope that as you have been going through this, you haven't been neglecting the writing portion of it, because what I have found to be true for me in the past is a lot of the things that I read and think mean a lot to me at the moment, I don't actually put into action and apply it to my specific situation. And so it slowly kind of disintegrates or disappears from my mind. And I would like to say that a lot of the time that I spend in reading has changed me, and really probably little by little it has in a lot of different ways, so I continue to do that reading. But when I actually start to write down things and take action on them, that's when I start to see changes in my life. So it's really important that as you go through this, you're not just reading it, but that you're actually taking the time to consider how it applies to your life. And that is the whole point of why I am doing this. So thank you for joining me. I was literally, as I was getting ready this morning, I was listening to a couple of different things on, one was a program that I followed about increasing your energy. And then the other one was about a way of how prayer actually changes us. And it was interesting because they both kind of addressed the same topic, but one was from a secular viewpoint and one was from a religious viewpoint. And I am certainly not here to press and push my belief system on people. I am here to say what has worked for me and what I believe to be the truth. And I hope that it will help you to consider those things for your life. But it is very interesting that they both kind of came to the same conclusion, but one is based on truth and one is a little scattered, because it basically says you choose your own way. And I don't believe that that necessarily is going to work the best. I think we have to follow truth. So if you are seeking truth, you will find the ultimate source of your power. And that's my belief. But one of the things that was said by Priscilla Shirer, who, if you haven't already seen War Room, she was the star of that show. She's also a pastor and does writing, and maybe I should say a preacher. She gets out and speaks, but I don't know that she actually has a church, but she is an amazing speaker. And one of the things that she said is, in the Bible, there are 8,000 plus or minus promises of God, but most of them were not placed in the hands of God's sons and daughters. They were placed within reach. And I want you to think about that. The promises were not placed in their hands. They were placed within their reach, which means they had to do something. They had to act. They had to step out in obedience. The theme for this week is do or die, and basically meaning that you got to put action behind what you are believing. And a lot of that has to do with claiming the promises that God has already given to us. So we start on day 1 with looking at the part of the Bible where a lot of the things that we can view, because we have the Bible, we have those stories. How did people fail time and time again against their so-called giants or enemies? And on day 1, we look at exactly where that failure came from. And not going to stay in the negative, but tomorrow we will talk about how they gained victory. But let's see if any of these strike a chord for you, and then you can kind of journal that. Mostly the failure from the people came from one or more of these sources. They could see the goal, but they lacked the discipline and energy that was needed to get to the goal. They just got plain tired and weary. They were afraid that the enemy was too strong. They allowed spiritual decay and they didn't banish things that took their eyes off of God. So they set up idols and high places, or they just didn't get rid of them and they allowed them to stay close by where they would be tempted. And lastly, that they thought that they could handle temptation. They thought that by leaving it nearby, it was something that they could be strong enough against. So as you go through this, I hope that you will kind of look at maybe what in your past is a pattern that you have found for you, and let's work on breaking that pattern, because none of these things have to happen. We already have the victory that Jesus brought when he died for us. We already wear a robe of righteousness that did not come because of anything we've done right, but we received it only because Jesus paid that price for us. So the fact that we already have the victory means that we need to reach out, act, grab the blessings, grab the promises, and run with them. And I hope that that means something for you today. Thanks so much for being with me. I hope that this is meaning something for you and helping you to make progress, and that you'll go out and live your life on fire.